Welcome back to your home of hopium-free crypto and economic market cycles updates. Let's take a look at Bitcoin today. When can this Bitcoin bear market end and we kick off to a brand new bull market? I'll leave a link at the end of this video to my 4-year cycles video update, and I'll have some more coming out on the channel as well. So make sure you have done the right thing. Subscribe, like, and share the content with a friend if you find some value from it. Let's dive in. Thanks to the sponsor of our channel, SwiftX. Check out the link in the description for 10 bucks of free Bitcoin when you sign up and verify your account. And you can use the exchange to do things like staking. So they have quite a few cryptocurrencies on there at pretty decent returns per annum. Things like Elrond Gold. Gold's a big one at the moment. And your Solanas, Cardanos, Polkadots, and of course, Cosmos as well. Now this is for Australians and Kiwis, so check it out. Link is in the description, and they have a fantastic mobile app as well. Now I'm going to answer a few of your questions from the comments section throughout the video and at the end. There's still a misunderstanding of what's going on in the market, why the prices can keep going down even if there is more money coming into the space. So I went into detail on that in yesterday's video, but I'll recap on a few missing points as well in this video. But first up, let's take a look at the news headlines. Monthly web traffic to crypto exchanges fell by 20% in February. So this could be based on a lot of retail not coming into the space as what they once were just back in November, which is where we saw the peak of the search traffic towards cryptocurrency exchanges. So web traffic across crypto exchanges decreased by 20% month over month in February. This sort of data just shows that obviously the retail isn't there at the moment, or not as much as they once were, like we saw back at those peaks. So you can see we have February at around 400. Click on this, we got a little bit closer, so 430. And then this was your March, April, and May, June, July, August, September, October, November, another peak here at 546. And now we're all the way back down here in February at 339. So overall, it's pretty equal to some of these lower periods that we saw, but obviously January was where we were starting to come out of the market. January in 2021, we're starting to boom from that point. The adoption continues. I know that's starting to trigger some people because they're wondering why aren't the prices going up if there's so much adoption? And that specifically is written in this question here. Still confused. You just said along with everyone else that money is being poured into Bitcoin. And so I would just clarify this and say I didn't just say that there was a ton of Bitcoin or money being poured into Bitcoin. What I will clarify that as is the adoption continues. So you can see that Stripe launches payment support for crypto businesses, partners with FTX. FTX, one of the biggest exchanges. We just saw that here. They have grown substantially over the last few years of being in the space. They're at number 4 now. Binance, Coinbase, Bybit, and FTX. So they're way up there. They're partnering with Stripe. Stripe is one of the biggest payment gateways in the world. Think of PayPal if you've never heard of Stripe, but essentially that's what I use for my courses as well. I prefer to use Stripe over PayPal. And they're now launching their crypto businesses, the support for crypto businesses, like my own education business, with FTX. So potentially in the near future, we'll start to be able to get payments in cryptocurrency through Stripe. And so people can purchase things like memberships and courses and anything else that is connected to Stripe. But this takes time, and this is what happens with the development. It doesn't mean money is pouring into Bitcoin right now. It means the space is getting built out so that money can come into the space in bigger droves than it has done in the past. I could never accept crypto through Stripe in the past, and it looks like they're working on it now with FTX. As for the money pouring in, we're looking at 17.3 million flowing in to Bitcoin, 4.2 million this week, multi-assets 14 million, and a few small outflows, Binance 0.1, Litecoin, Solana, Polkadot, really not much coming out of Polkadot, but a fair bit coming out of Solana, more so than the other cryptos here. And we've seen this week on week. This week is the 7th week of positive inflows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I should say 6, my apologies. So we've got 6 weeks in. And the prices have basically been pretty steady over the last several weeks, which I'll show you on the chart in just a moment. Looking at CoinGecko, everything is pretty much on point again. Not much change here against their Bitcoin values. However, the XRP army would be loving the 8% growth over the last 24 hours of XRP against the BTC value. Terra is finally down. It's had its day at the top there, but it is still holding out those higher prices. Other cryptos that are doing well up there, things like Polkadot, one of my favorites, and also in the green we can see Litecoin at the moment, but everything else is not that big of a deal. 1% here, 0.1% there. That's pretty much rounding out the top 50 cryptocurrencies. The fear and greed index has remained very consistent at 22 now, yesterday, and last week. Not much has happened across the board. And I put a tweet out very similar. Bitcoin price is exactly the same now as it was 7 days ago, 14 days ago. Basically, it's been like this price for quite some time, 39,100. But we get a lot of fluctuations in between, which is essentially what the market loves to drive news on. You know, if it goes up, it goes down. But we're waiting for the macro pictures to take off. So we could look at this price all we want, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much been the same price over the last 7 days and the last 14 days. This is a 1 hour chart of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has defended the 38,000, or if you want to call it around 38,500 level again, with higher lows forming. So this is a pretty good sign at the moment, short term that is, and I'll look at long term in just a moment. If we take a look at a little bit longer than 1 hour chart, go to the daily, and this 38.5 is still holding up. Ideally, like I said about 3 or 4 days ago, I really want to see Bitcoin start to consolidate above $40,000. The saving grace here is that the lows are getting higher. We had a low on the 24th of January, 24th of February, the 7th of March. That's the current main low. And we're just looking for this price to continue up and then start to consolidate a bit higher so that we can tackle the $46,000 level again. Looking at these highs, we pretty much have one major high here in February and then another major high here in early March. Potentially, I have a third high here in January, but as I continue to look at the structure of the market, I think maybe we've got two main highs here. This definitely wasn't one, and potentially a third. So I really want to see another one put in so we can start to break higher. Basically, higher lows and steady or consistent roof highs at around 45,000. So basically trying to break through that ceiling, break through that roof, and get to 46,000. When will the bear market end? And let's get ready for April. April tends to be a month that we can at least see some positive signs or some positive prices with Bitcoin, especially after March being down or sideways over the years or the historic data for Bitcoin. Now, another couple of things I'm going to look at is the Ethereum price. I want to update that because Ethereum is also holding reasonably steady. The sentiment is kind of shifting. The comments that I see down below are reasonably good. In the period where the market's down, the first few weeks after the highs, there are a lot of triggered new investors that are really just looking for anyone to blame, and then eventually they leave. And of course, they're not watching YouTube videos. You can see that the views are down across the board. Doesn't matter what you're looking at throughout YouTube. So I use that very heavily for the sentiment shifting. And the comments, which I'll have a look at in just a moment, are quite not necessarily positive, but they're not looking for someone else to blame. So it is kind of refreshing to see the people who are just here to try and make quick bucks pretty much been burnt out of the market. And we're just looking at the guys who have made it this far. I think they're doing pretty well. And if we can just hold on, hold on for the ride. Now for this bear market ending. Remember earlier on, I said stick around to the end of the video. I'll leave my 4-year cycle video tagged at the end. So you just have to click on that. The Aprils over the last 12 or so years, starting at April back in 2011, big green dildo here. So big green month after the market was trending up, had a little pause in March and took off. Now from April in 2012, basically the market was sideways and only got a couple of percent up or 1%, but at least it paused the down period. So you had a few months down, it paused and then took off from that point. 2013 showed a top. So we had a pretty big top for April in 2013. 2014 was a red month, but only by a couple of a percent. But the beauty about that is it had enough energy to stop the market from falling further. And then the market bounced for a couple of months after that. April 2015, similar sort of thing. It had a red month of 3.7%. And then the market turned after the next month. So basically in June, had another couple of months up, tanked, and then took off from that point. 2016, little green month here. Not too much to write home about there, only 8%, but at least it was a green month after a red month in March. There was a red month in March for 2015 and 2014. 2013 was a standout there for March, but we're just getting a little bit of a pattern here that March is a red month. April either pauses the down, pauses the the price decline, or if it's already had a bit of a pause, it can start to push the market up. 2016 we saw a green. 2017 it broke through into new all-time highs again, almost into new all-time highs. 2018 basically reversed the red, so you had a few months down, had a nice big green month up of 33%. 2019, we broke out of a sideways pattern here. We had December, January, February, and March started to trend up. And I remember this period just sitting in here, it was so dead in the market. It was extremely, extremely quiet. And then April came, broke the highs, and then took off just for 3 months into that top in June. So that was a pretty positive period for Bitcoin. And of course, April broke that trend. April in 2020 bounced out of the COVID low and basically never saw those prices again. And then April last year, April 2021, was the all-time high month before we got November. So April saw higher prices, but was a red month by 1.7%. So it was still relatively positive. At least the sentiment was extremely positive until we saw around the 18th where that market broke down and then came back towards around the 25th where it got another low before bouncing back in May. What we've seen so far, November, December, January down, February sideways, a little bit of a green. We got 12%, and then March so far, we're only halfway through, is 10% down, but essentially it's sideways. As we saw earlier, the prices haven't really moved that much. So there is a possibility, or at least we've seen more often than not, April having a green month, whether that's in between a downtrend or it's breaking out of like a sideways accumulation trend. And so there's more probability that we might see that. I think maybe we head towards, we've got to break through 46K first before we can attempt the $50,000 level. And so we'll continue to follow that, see how March ends up. If we can get a little higher of a close above that 40K, then I think we'll have more possibility of April being a green month. But if March closes a bit lower and starts to trend towards these other lows of January and February, then I think it's going to be hard for April to basically turn this market around at the moment and then head towards those next prices. I'm still quite positive on this. As I said, March is only halfway through, so we'll circle back to this in a couple of weeks' time. Ethereum is also following a similar sort of pattern. It is holding up, it's holding its lows and trying to make a comeback above the 50% level at 2750. And so if we can get back above that, consolidate, do what Bitcoin's doing, then I think we have a chance of hitting around that $3,000. I think above 3,000 is going to be a reasonable level psychologically to start to consolidate to then test that $3,400 to $3,500 level. But until we get that, then this is a pretty sideways choppy market. As I've noted here, 7 weeks, this range has basically been the same thing. If you didn't look at this market for 7 weeks, it's pretty much had a 2.5% range between 25.30 and about 26.30. So basically a $100 range without these big spikes up, trends back down, and it's basically been sitting in this channel for about 7 weeks. Now to yesterday's video and a couple of comments here that stood out. You do realize the world is moving into a major economic collapse. Bitcoin isn't going anywhere this period. What affects normal markets affects crypto despite what everyone claims. I think that does affect cryptocurrencies. And what I've replied is major economic collapse. You go, how do you define these things? What is your definition of a major economic collapse? Is it 15% down like we're seeing in the S&P, or is it total collapse of 40, 50% in the stock market? If it's the latter, I think you'll be wrong, but I'm not here to claim I'm right, you're wrong. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. As long as you're making money in the market and you're able to survive another day, so be it. You know, that is what it is. But I certainly don't see a major economic collapse happening in 2022 for many of the reasons I've pointed out on the channel before, especially the 18.6-year cycle, which has proven to be hitting the mark for this entire cycle so far. Essentially 2022 looking volatile, sideways. There's going to be some significant lows, some significant highs. But primarily it's going to be underneath the old all-time highs, in my opinion. I don't think we'll make a new all-time high in 2022, but over the next few years after that, I definitely think we'll be coming back to bigger and more major booms. And if you enjoy this section of me answering a couple of questions from the comments section, let me know in the comments. Drop your comments there, like the video up, subscribe if you haven't already, so I know to continue answering some of these comments that you guys have spent the time putting down in the comment section. Laura said here, I hope this endless bear market ends soon, which gave me a little bit of an idea, sparked a thought for this particular video, which is why I titled it around, you know, the when will Bitcoin end? And then of course what my thoughts would be for April. The endless bear market will always end. Bear markets will end. just like bull markets will always end as well. It's just a matter of being patient. We've gone through big accumulation in 2018, 19, and early 2020 for it to take off pretty heavily in 2021. So I think we need another section of reaccumulation before we can take off to higher prices again. Thanks again for dropping your questions down below. It feels really good to engage with you guys, especially on a video, and answer some of those questions which people are obviously wondering, especially in this time of the market. And also check out the sponsors in the description down below for SwiftX. See you guys at the next one. Until then, have more fun to get more done.